we saw a need for creating a very quick and easy way to convert your car, truck, or van into a roadworthy adventure vehicle. Unfortunately, people's attention spans have gone from this big to this big. And so you've got to fit the most amount of content that you can to show your point into this much of an area, and also to do it a lot. My advice to people would be go check out our social media. See what you like and you don't like. I'm constantly learning. You just have this internal passion that you love it and you know the story that you want to tell. But also on the flip side, there's a lot of questions that come up with it.
Hello and welcome to the DTC Daily Podcast. Every week, we interview some of the best e-commerce founders and dive deep into their key growth drivers, uncovering actionable insights that you can implement in your business. But before we jump into today's conversation, a quick thank you to our friends at Saral. Most brands get influencer marketing wrong. They think paying a creator for a single post will spark a sales spike. That simply doesn't work. Successful brands like Graza, Hoeve, and Hexclad are forging genuine partnerships. And that's where Saral comes in. It's your go-to platform for partnering with the right influencers, tracking results, and managing everything in one place. Book a demo at getsaral.com/demo, mention us, and get an extended free trial exclusive for our listeners. How are you doing? Welcome to the DTC Daily Podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so interesting. I'm in Gypsum, Colorado, and you're like, 5,000 miles away. This is awesome.
So before we get started, could you tell our audience a little bit about your business?
Sure. I'm Ken Hoeve. I am the Chief Marketing Officer, co-founder, and co-inventor of a company called Flated, which we have revolutionized the way that people use a material called drop stitch, which a lot of folks are familiar with from the stand-up paddleboard industry, the inflatable paddleboards, to incorporate it into using in an automotive setting. And primarily, we have a number of products, but I actually set my truck up today so people could see it. We make what we call a topper or a camper shell. And we also make a deck. We make a rooftop carrier. We make furniture. We make a number of items, but our primary is our inflatable truck topper called the air topper.
Awesome. And could you tell us some of the key milestones that you've hit so far?
Sure. The biggest one is an increase in consumer awareness. Along with that, obviously, goes sales. Our sales have increased dramatically. But for us, I'd say major milestones was creating the company, number one. Well, the idea, number one, getting prototypes made. That would be another one. Proving that it worked. Then building our company, actually putting our team together of the best people that we could, from Dan, I'd start with Ryan, who's our Chief Executive Officer, Dan, who's our Chief Product Designer, Monique, who's our CFO, so our group of four, and then also some of our employees as well.
And, before we dive into the business and, talk a little bit about the growth, would you be comfortable sharing some numbers to just set context to, where you guys are at currently?
I don't know that I'll put exact sales numbers up, but I can say dramatic increase. I could say that in our first year, which was 3 years ago, we were in the tens of thousands of dollars in sales, to currently fast forward to last year, where we are in the multi-million dollars in sales.
Awesome. And now, let's go back to that journey. And if you had to pinpoint one thing, what would you say has been the single largest growth driver for Flated?
It's a two-parter. One is I really have to compliment our team. The biggest thing in business, I think, and I'm someone that is a prime candidate of it, is historically in other businesses I've personally been involved with, I always try to do everything by myself. I felt like I knew best, from the marketing to the sales to every part of it. I thought, nobody could do it better than I can. I really understand it all. And that's completely incorrect. I'm here to admit that having a team is the best. There's so many things to a business, especially an international business, that you need people that are experts in every field. And so that would be one of them. The other one is our product itself. revolutionary, had never been done before. We saw a need for this, and even the rest of the world had never even imagined this need, but we saw a need for creating a very quick and easy way to convert your car, truck, or van into a roadworthy adventure vehicle. And then when your trip is over, to be able to equally as easy remove these products from your vehicle. And as an example, a truck, especially here in the US, people use them for hauling dirt bikes, for hauling wood, for hauling things around. And a traditional camper shell kind of prohibits having a camper on it, right? A lot of times you want to use your truck as a truck, and then you say, I'd like to, as an example here, Utah is nearby. I'd like to go to Utah and go camping for this weekend. So it was an easy way for people to make their vehicle go back and forth very quickly.
As you mentioned, the product that you guys have launched is something very different. You guys spotted a need. There was nothing like that out there. How do you convince the user that this is something that they need? Because they obviously don't know about something like this. So how do you go about educating them, and how did you go about actually creating this category?
Well, and that's probably the second part of your last question is how do you build something to make it successful? And as your point right now is how do you get the message across? For us personally, the biggest driver has been social media. We knew that when we created this, we knew it worked. And we knew it worked well. We knew it was durable. We knew all these things, but how do you convey that to the world? And the quickest and easiest way, when done correctly, is through social media. In particular, Instagram and Facebook. TikTok is also a big driver, Pinterest. And not only being able to show how it works and how durable it is, but also to kind of narrow it down. Historically now, unfortunately, people's attention spans have gone from, this big to this big. And so you've got to fit the most amount of content that you can to show your point into this much of an area, and also to do it a lot. I compare social media to drinking a beer or drinking a coffee. It's a consumable. Once someone has consumed it, they like it, they want another one. So you find yourself constantly trying to feed the consumer, these images. And with us, there's such a wide range of ways that this can be used. So you can't get all that across in one video, or image or anything like that. So you're constantly trying to create images and video that make people go, oh, I get it now.
So could you go back to the early days when you just launched your social media channel? Could you tell us about the early strategies? How did you go about getting your first 1,000 followers, and then how do you go about getting the first 10,000 followers? Could you just walk us through the early strategy?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. For us, primarily, I would say is we're real. To be real when you do these videos. Don't pretend to be something that you're not, because ultimately when the consumer orders your product and they got it, you don't want to have, as we like to say, pull the wool over their eyes, or, it was all smoke and mirrors. You want them to get it and to genuinely go, okay, this is exactly what I saw on the video, on the commercial, on social media. So for us, we wanted to be real. We wanted to truthfully portray exactly how the product works and how people could use it in their life. So in the early days, we used a lot of still images, pictures, okay? And our videos primarily were on YouTube. So people would go to Instagram and look at it and say, oh, that's cool, and then go to the link that took them to YouTube where they could watch further, longer form videos. And during that time frame, we saw a slow growth to what we did. And then in the early days, I think to this day, it's our number one video on Instagram, was a video that I shot very simply, and people can go and look at it, in my front yard of my teenage son. He had just received a used Toyota Tacoma for his birthday, his first vehicle, and I ordered him a topper, and I just simply did short cuts of him unboxing it, taking it out, inflating it, putting it on his truck, and then standing on top of it. And for whatever reason, that video, I think it has just over 9 million views right now, just on Instagram alone. That one went really viral and really increased the number of people that saw it and were like, oh, that's a cool company, and started to follow us. And then it's just been a progression. I think as of right now, we're at around 72,000 followers on Instagram, all real followers. We are often asked by bots, I think they are, hey, do you want to increase your social media following? I never even respond to those because we want it real. We want real people that really like what we're doing, that really like our product, that are really, even if they never buy it, right? Even if they just think, man, this is cool. These guys are always out doing some fun things. We'd rather have real people than, a lot of these followers or, influencers that are out there that purchase online followers. We just want to be real.
And, if someone's just starting out, a lot of people feel that social media can be very expensive, especially in terms of, people feel they need an agency, they need high production content. Could you just break down how guys go about creating content, and, you guys spend a lot? Is it, just an iPhone and it's just all natural? Could you break down your content strategy a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I do 99.9%. We have a couple of videos that are out there that people have contributed or have, asked us to be collaborators on. But every video pretty much that you go to on our Facebook page, or on our Facebook page and on our YouTube channel, those are all videos that I've produced with an iPhone, a very cheap Mavic DJI drone, and a GoPro. And my advice to people, one, would be go check out our social media. See what you like and you don't like. I'm constantly learning, and that's kind of a two-part question, in that the actual construction of the videos is very affordable, right? Everyone's got a phone, everyone's carrying a camera around. It's how you shoot it, right? And as I mentioned, everything is very short. You want to have the viewer be able to see a certain thing, and then the next clip they see it, and then they're curious, what's the next clip? What's the one after that, to get them to watch the whole video? I would say the other part of that is, the expense of it is that the majority of our viral videos is 100% natural. Now, we do have a budget that we spend a few $100s a month, particularly on Facebook, to have our Facebook ads. And generally what we'll do is take a video that has gone viral already on Instagram, and we say, okay, that works. And then we'll put a few dollars behind it every month on Facebook advertising to have it out. And then while I have this thought in my mind, another great thing to do is we do a lot of trade shows now. We go to consumer shows, camping shows, where we actually go out and allow people to see it in real life. And we believe that our product is kind of a touch to trust product. You see it online, you think it's great, but we get messages all the time. Hey, where can I see one in real life? You can also use social media, especially Facebook, for geo-targeting areas. So as an example, 2 weeks ago, I think it was 2 weekends ago, we were in California at an event called Camp Shred, big surf industry event, really fun, outdoors at a campground right on the ocean. And what we did is did a geo-targeted ad on Facebook that informed people that we were there, right? And you could pick the radius. It could be 10 miles, 50 miles, 100 miles. I think we do about 500 miles generally. And it is amazing how many people got the ad, see that we're going to be there, and will drive hundreds of miles to see it in real life. So that's a really great way to utilize social media, especially if you have a product that no one's really familiar with seeing it. They've seen it online, but they want to learn more and they want to come meet you where you can discuss it more. That is a really great way to do it.
And coming to your content strategy on social media, are you working with a content calendar? Are you just creating content daily? Is it pre-planned? Could you just walk us through the process that you follow from idea all the way to, posting?
Yeah, absolutely. It's a little bit of both. There's definitely things, I'll give you a couple of examples. let's say, for example, I shot a video, I think it was last month. I shot two videos that I wanted to show people where I live in Colorado, although I'm inside a garage right now. It is snowing like crazy outside. I snowmobile and I wanted to show people how quick I could remove the topper and put my snowmobile on the back. Right. So that was one that I just came up with because I was like, oh, the topper's on there. I'm going snowmobiling. Let's shoot this video and put that out there. And then I also did another one of taking the snowmobile out, inflating the topper and putting it on, and actually had a stopwatch on a phone. I was able to take the topper off and put my snowmobile in the back in less than 2 minutes. So that's one that here's the moment. Let's shoot this, right? I'll give you one other one before I move on. And that was, and this video is going viral currently. When we were at that same trade show that I mentioned, Camp Shred, our CFO Monique was there to help us, and our air carrier, which is a rooftop cargo box that inflates, you can put it on, take it off very easily. She was about to inflate it and put it on the truck. So I just shot a video of her doing it and put that up, and that's had over 1 million views and a lot of success in selling that product. So that's kind of the spontaneous side of it, right? But then we do have planned things. One that's a classic is April Fool's Day. Last year we made a funny April Fool's joke. St. Patty's Day, newsletters that go out. Also, excuse me, I have a ongoing video series on YouTube called Flated Road Trip Adventures, where I'll put the product on and I'll go do a big adventure. One of my favorites from this summer was I went to British Columbia from Colorado, drove up there, went to a wave that you can surf called Skookumchuck, and then came back through Montana. And I made that, a lengthy video. And then, things like that are planned. And then they go out with our newsletter. And I think all of your viewers can agree that there's nothing worse than just getting repeated newsletters, right, from companies. Twice a week, it's dry, I call it. It's just a letter, right? With ours, when they arrive into people's inboxes, we have a big rate of click through where people will watch the video because we're not only telling them about a product, we're also taking them on a little adventure. That although we show our product, I try to make the videos more for someone that's like, oh, that was cool. That was fun. That looked like a place I'd like to go. That looks like an experience I'd like to have. So we don't try to necessarily say, hey, you got to buy our product, buy it because it's on sale. We try to do it where we show you how you can use it in your life and how we use it in our life and how they can put it to use. So I guess to answer your question, yes, we do spontaneous videos, but then also we definitely forecast and kind of plan around other types of things.
And could you talk a little bit about what your content marketing strategy is across different platforms? How is it, what are you doing on Instagram, and how, and what are you doing on YouTube and, any other platform that you're on? Could you also talk a little bit about, what you're doing on short form and what are you doing for long form content?
So on the short form, and let me know if anything happens with my mic. I'm getting a little signal on my camera here that says 0. I don't know quite what that means. I figured I'd try to use a microphone on this because I'm in this big area. For us, to me, the long form content that you want to do would be specific for YouTube, shot horizontally. Okay. There's always this argument on how do you shoot it. To me, anything that goes on TikTok, Instagram, or YouTube Shorts, for example, shoot those vertically. Anything that you do long form, like where you want someone to watch it on YouTube, because a lot of people, my kids, I have a 17 and 19-year-old, they don't watch NBC News or NBC or CBS or, they don't watch Yellowstone. They watch YouTube, right? They're dirt bikers. So they are constantly watching YouTube TV. And when you watch on a TV in your house, it is horizontal. So anything that you do for YouTube that's a longer form, and when I say a longer form, 4 minutes or longer, shoot it horizontally. I also recommend, however, and if you could see my setup here right now, I have my phone set up horizontally, duct taped to a ladder, okay, so that I could do this. My suggestion is if you have something really good that you want to use in both forms, get a cameraman to help you, but also have one camera that shoots it horizontally and another camera that shoots it vertically so that you've captured both. For me, I've discovered that even if I shoot, say, an Instagram video in super view on a GoPro, if I trim it to use on a short, right, vertically, it just doesn't work as well. I don't know why that is. I've just discovered that over the years of doing this, that if you want to post something vertically, shoot it vertically. If you want to post it horizontally, shoot it horizontally. Also, to go one step further, I don't know that this is accurate, right? But I'll throw it out there. I personally have learned that I use an app called CapCut when I edit my videos. And this is my belief. I don't know this. I feel like if you shoot something on TikTok, right, or you shoot something on Instagram, right, on their apps, and you try to use them on other platforms, I feel like they're hindered. I don't feel like they perform as well.
But what I was actually trying to get at was a little more towards the content side of things, like the content that you're shooting for shorts and the content you're shooting for the longer channels. Like in terms of the scripts, are they very different? Are they the same as longer, or is it something complete? The themes of content are completely different of what you're doing between long form and short form.
They're different. They're definitely different. If I have something really good in the okay, so I'll give you another example. I'll be doing a trip here soon, to Tennessee. I'll shoot it both ways. I'll shoot horizontal specific for the YouTube video, but then along on that trip, I'll shoot vertically to put daily segments up on Instagram, on TikTok, and also on YouTube Shorts. And also, to go back to your growth part of it, I've noticed that on Instagram, you see like a giant spike in growth. Like we'll pick up a few thousand followers every week, maybe 2 weeks. YouTube is a little bit longer. Unless you have something that goes really viral that everyone wants, it takes a little longer. We have a great following on YouTube, but I feel like Instagram, TikTok, those things, you can pick up thousands of followers in a day, possibly, whereas YouTube is kind of a longer process.
Yeah. Throughout this conversation, I think I've picked up on something very interesting. Whenever I've asked you about the content that you guys are creating, it's never been about, oh, we plan this shoot or we do this. It feels like you're basically just shooting your life, and the product is just so ingrained in your life that you're just basically creating fun content about the fun things that you do, and the product's just getting exposure through that.
That's very accurate, actually. Life is short, and it is often spontaneous. You don't know what's going to happen next, and so I'll give you one example though. And again, you'll see the disclaimer on certain videos where we say, do not attempt this. Okay. It's something that we do for fun to try to show people either how rigid it is, to make something fun out of it. So there's a prime example of a video. It was kind of spontaneous, but I had thought about it for months. We did it this past spring, and I don't know if you've gone through our social media. My CEO, Ryan, and a good friend of mine, took the topper off of his truck. We built a little transom. We put a boat motor on it, and we went around a lake, and it worked great. I had imagined that video probably for 2 years. I just had never had the opportunity to do it. And then the opportunity arose. So a lot of spontaneity and showing our lifestyle, but definitely in my mind, there's videos that I want to shoot that are just, I've got them upstairs just thinking about them. And then when I get that opportunity, I definitely take that opportunity to capture that video.
Yeah, that's a really interesting example. But even, the example that you've just given just again sounds like something you would anyway do. Even if it wasn't your own product, it sounds like you would have found something, put a motor on it, and gone in the lake or river to see
absolutely
how the product performs. So it's pretty interesting that, how you've taken this product and it's just ingrained in your life, and you're just showing your life to people. I think one of the biggest struggles that a lot of founders have with social media is just making content that's authentic. Most of the times the Instagram handle just looks like a sales page. Could you
Yeah.
just, give some advice to these founders, what they can do to just make the product a little more natural and ingrained in their lives as
Absolutely.
well?
I think, if you're passionate, passion is a big thing. With our product, we're all passionate about it. We know it works. We know that it's a life changer for a lot of people for their adventures. We absolutely know this. We knew it before we started. So I think for a lot of people, like with the product, you just have this internal passion that you love it and you know the story that you want to tell. Okay. But also on the flip side, there's a lot of questions that come up with it, right? You know that it's durable. So, you have to show durability. We've gone so far as, you talk about, do you plan a video or do you just do it? Our office in Missoula, Montana, they were replacing the driveway, the road, the parking lot. And we have a video. We had a topper out there and we had a front end loader dump about 2,000 pounds of asphalt on it. It lands and it bounces off. That video went viral. Could we have planned that? I don't even think that we knew that they were resurfacing the parking lot that day. It just kind of popped up and we said, hey, drop some asphalt on there, and it worked. And also when we did that, we didn't know if it would destroy it. We figured it would hold up, and you can watch the video. It just bounces right off. So, but back to your point, be passionate about it. Definitely have a plan. What message do you want to get across to your consumer? It could be anything. It could be something that you use for your dogs. It could be literally any product that you have. What do you want to get across to the consumer? Also, make it short and sweet, right? Someone told me a saying years ago. I used to be in television. I was a morning weatherman, and I would go on and on, just like I'm going on and on about talking about things. And my manager at the time, this is going back 25 years ago, the station manager said, Ken, it's better to leave the viewer wanting for more than wishing for less. Right. So
Yeah.
I've taken that to heart, and that I want the people that are watching us to be like, man, I want to see more, rather than, I'm done with that. I already know everything. So I kind of use a bit of that in our tactics to, showcase our product.
Uh, Coming to the two biggest challenges, I would say that most founders face with social media. I think the first one is just firing off social media and just getting that virality and, getting those followers. But I think the second biggest challenge that a lot of people have is that, okay, they've got a few pieces of content that have got viral. They've managed to get followers, but they struggle to actually convert those numbers of social media in terms of followers, views, engagement into actual sale for their
Yes.
product. Could you touch upon that a little bit on, what can someone do to actually monetize the views, the engagement that they're getting on social media?
Yeah, absolutely. The biggest one for me, so it would go beyond getting like that first or second sale. You've got a few sales, okay? Customer service. That, to me, that is as big as anything. And if you go to our website, you'll read hundreds of great customer service reviews. That's not to say that some days there's someone that's not happy, right? It's a business, that can happen. But the biggest is customer service. And not only have that customer service, but also have them write reviews and to share those reviews. Because with us, sometimes people see us, as an example, we were on Shark Tank. People saw us on Shark Tank, love it, just order, right? Cool. Then there's other people, they've followed us for over a year and a half. And all of a sudden they'll go, I know this product now works for me, and they'll order it, right? So sometimes you don't get the response you want. Hey, I had a great video. I sold, $1,000 worth of products right away. I'm on my way. Be patient, right? Be passionate, be patient. And the biggest is when they get that product, good customer service. If you have a product that, like with ours, sometimes we'll get questions. How do I roll up the back windows? To us, it's obvious. but to the consumer, they're just not quite sure. Be available on the phone. Along with that, I would also say a lot of big companies, AT&T, Verizon, Ford, they have call centers, right? When you are the founder of a company, you answer the call. Okay. There's nothing I think that resonates bigger with someone that's spending their hard earned money than when they call. I pick up the phone sometimes. Now we have Hannah Pennington, who is amazing. She is like, we love Hannah. She is like our main customer service person. She answers questions all day, sends videos, that kind of thing. But oftentimes, we have an app called Tidio. I don't know if you're familiar with it. And what Tidio is that pretty much across the board, you attach your Instagram account to it, all your accounts to it. And it's funny, while I've been talking to you, I've seen 5 messages pop up on my phone that Hannah has now answered. It directly sends comments, everything to one space that you can reply to. It's Tidio. It is a great tool for, you can't surf every website, all day long. It'll drive you crazy. But this one just constantly feeds it. And then also when you go on our website, when it says, would you like to talk to would you like to talk to someone, or what do you have a question? When someone types in, it goes to all of us as founders' phones, and it goes to everyone so that we can immediately, hopefully within 30 seconds or so, respond to them. And also when we respond, it puts our name on it. So like when I respond to it, it'll say Ken with Flated. All the time people go, wait, this is the guy from the videos? This is the founder? Like, you're answering my question? Yeah, how's it going? And there's more trust, I think, with us due to that.
Awesome. And lastly, is there any advice that you'd like to give some of the founders that are watching this podcast?
Number one, if you believe in it and you love it, go for it. Okay. That is the biggest. And I say that because let's face it, the majority of commerce is online. Amazon, Walmart, Uber Eats, right? Everyone just goes on their phone and they order. People, for whatever reason, want to be mean, right? You could have the greatest thing that you love and they'll just write the meanest stuff, right? They're just on their phone, and they'll write derogatory things. Delete them, block them, ignore them. Stay true to you. Don't focus on some person that has hatred in their heart. Focus on your great product and taking care of the people that love it, and focus on them. Don't, I do a lot of snowboarding, and they always say when you're going through the trees, don't look at the trees, look at the path, right? And that's how I would say with this. Block out the hater. This morning, I saw someone that wrote a derogatory thing, actually, like, a horrible comment, and rather than respond, I just block them, delete them, and I move on and I forget about it. But then I also have the people that write comments. I got your product last year. I love it. I'm going on a trip this weekend. Reply. Thank you so much for supporting us. If there's anything we can do, let us know. Also on your videos, engaging with people will also help make them go viral. If someone writes a comment, I love this. I'm saving money to get it. Write them back and say, thank you so much. We can't wait to see your order come through. And then maybe even direct message them if you have the ability to, put something on sale, or maybe you have a return that you could give them at a discount. Direct message them. Hey, we had this product returned. We could offer it to you at a reduced rate. You have no idea. You've now created not only a great consumer, but someone that's like a part of your family. And I think especially with us, we create memories for families. We have people that get these, take their kids camping. We create a lifestyle with this. So, and real quick before we go, I figure I've been sitting in front of it. I could give people a better idea on what this looks like. So
Yeah,
just
definitely.
this combo right here. This is our air topper. There's the back window. I just have it folded up. And then underneath this, if you can see it, this is what's called the air deck. And it has legs so that you can, and this is a great sleeping pad. It's called Hest. You put your sleeping pad on it because it is rigid. And then you have storage underneath. So you can put all your camping stuff underneath and still have room to sleep up top. If you go through our videos, you'll see this for yourself. I can take all of this off in less than a minute. So again, then your truck is a truck. Now it takes a little bit more time, to deflate it and roll it up and put it away, but it's a very simple product just to use and then take off when you don't need to use it.
Awesome. I think there's a mini lesson here for founders as well. I think you've kind of explained your product so beautifully in probably under a minute. I know exactly what it is, what the use case is. A lot of founders I feel struggle with, just explaining what their product is. They need to give a long backstory. They go into too many details. I think in the last 1 minute, what you've done is wonderful. And I think that there's another lesson here for the founders as well. Thank you so much for doing this.
Yes.
This has been
Thank
very
you. Thank you.
insightful.
And honestly, we appreciate you taking the time to show us. It's great publicity for us. It's also a great opportunity for people to get to know us. We're real. It's us that do this, design it, build it. And like I said, I know that your podcast is really inspirational to a lot of people that are thinking about doing something. You can do it. If you have an idea, build a prototype, like go after your passion. If you're passionate about it and you think it'll work, go for it. And don't let anybody tell you no. There's a lot of people, when we thought about doing this, they were like, what? How is that going to work? And if I would have listened to them, it would have put doubt in my mind and we wouldn't have done it. We believed in it. And now here we are. And I'm on this awesome podcast with you talking about it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your kind words.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a privilege.